Is Tesla planning a gigafactory in Florida? September 18, 2022. Elon Musk said that Tesla would most likely announce a new gigafactory later in 2022. According to Warren Redlich, here's why a gigafactory in Orlando, Florida makes sense. People want to live in Orlando, Florida. Elon Musk has talked about building gigafactories in places that people want to be, and doing so makes it easy to recruit employees who want to be there and will do a good job. Because they already like where they are living, it's more difficult to get people to come to a location that they may not want to live in. In the first place, there are universities nearby. There are major universities near Orlando. There is the University of Florida, University of Central Florida, South Florida University, University of North Florida. All of these universities have great programs in engineering. This is great for recruiting employees with engineering backgrounds. Disney World and Universal Studios are nearby. There are a lot of attractions in Orlando. Disney World is the biggest Disney attraction. When this is nearby, this is a place you go to regularly, especially if you live there. There are deals for Florida residents to get annual passes to go to Disney. Universal Studios is also there, providing an attraction for people. SpaceX is close by. Having SpaceX close by is a very good thing for building a gigafactory in Florida. There is potential for things getting to work together and have a close-knit working relationship. This is just very convenient for both companies. There is no state income tax. There is no state income tax, which is a nice thing. Every year, I pay about 2.75% of my income to tax in Utah. Florida, with no state income tax, is a little more attractive than Utah. There is a pro-business government. There are a lot of business moving to Florida as the local governments are working to attract business. It's a business-friendly state. Florida is the third largest state. Florida is the third largest state in the United States. California and Texas, the first two largest states, already have factories. It makes a lot of sense to build a gigafactory there. Florida also has a great supercharger system. It is 700 miles closer to NYC instead of Austin. Orlando, Florida is closer to bigger cities and New York. Orlando has the advantage of location to more prominent places. Orlando also has access to many ports for shipment. There is a lot of coastline. What do you think about Tesla building a gigafactory in Orlando, Florida? Does this make sense to do? Source reposted and summarized from Jeremy Johnson at Talk News. My take sounds like a lot of very good reasons for doing this in Florida. Tesla celebrates 10,000th Model Y produced in Texas. September 18, 2022. 10,000 Tesla Model Y electric cars have been built at the Giga Texas plant since it entered series production at the site in April 2022. The company shared a photo from the celebration of the small but important milestone. On a path to much higher volume. 10,000 Model Ys built at Giga Texas. To date, it was reported in August that Tesla increased production to 1,000 Model Y per week in Texas. We don't know what level it's at now, but as the installed manufacturing capacity is higher than 250,000 annually, it must increase probably at least five-fold to 5,000 units per week or so. The main factor limiting the Model Y ramp-up in Texas appears to be the availability of the all-new 4680 type cylindrical battery cells for structural battery packs. Because of that, earlier this year, Tesla started production of the Model Y equipped with 2170 type cells and non-structural battery packs. Both types are produced in parallel. Only they will tell whether the 4680 battery supply improves enough to significantly increase production. In the long term, the Tesla Giga Texas plant will also produce the Tesla Cybertruck pickup truck potentially in 2023. But it is not certain yet. Before that, the company will launch the Tesla Semi before the end of this year. But we are not sure about the location. Nevada or California. Source reposted and summarized from Mark Kane at Inside EV. My take in the near future. Texas will be doing 10,000 vehicles per week. Tesla leaves Bugatti in the dust. September 18, 2022. A Tesla Model S Plaid left a $3.6 million Bugatti Chiron behind a couple of times in a drag and roll race at the Triple F Raceway in a new video by Drag Times. The Tesla Model S Plaid with its 1,020 horsepower and the Bugatti Chiron with its 1,500 horsepower faced off on the track. Although the Plaid is around 500 pounds lighter than the Bugatti Chiron. In these races, the all-electric vehicle proved to be the better performing vehicle. At about 4 minutes into the video, the two vehicles take off with the Model S Plaid leaving the rare and expensive supercar behind. The Chiron was slow to leave the starting line but was able to narrow the gap. However, it lost to the Plaid. The $3.6 million car actually got a better start in the second race and was able to tie with the Model S Plaid. In the third and final race, the Tesla earned its second win with a faster launch from the line. The final two races were rolling races which helped the Bugatti some, but it still lost to the Tesla. The Tesla Model S Plaid has a listed 0 to 60 miles per hour time of 1.99 seconds. However, it has proven that it can hit 60 miles per hour in just 1.98 seconds. During the unveiling of the Tesla Model S Plaid in 2021, Tesla CEO Elon Musk said that it was the fastest production car that anyone could purchase. He described the engineering of the vehicle as practically alien. "I think engineering that is practically alien," he said. Elon Musk added that the Model S Plaid would be faster than any Porsche and safer than any Volvo. Source reposted and summarized from John Kreider at Tesla RT. "My take: I expected nothing less from the Model S Plaid."
Norway's going electric, by land and by sea. September 18, 2022. For an electric vehicle enthusiast, going to Norway is like going to Costa Rica for a birder. Every time I visit this beautiful and ultra-modern country, I add more EV models to my life list. And my recent visit over the summer was no exception. On the streets of Oslo and Bergen, I saw tons of Teslas, loads of Leafs and many Mustang Mach-Es. All three of these models can be seen in service as taxis. Alongside every version of the Prius, I saw Audi e-trons, Jaguar I-Paces, Porsche Taycans, VWs, both old e-Golf and new ID.3 and ID.4, BMW i3s, electric Hyundais and Kias. I saw European models that aren't sold in the States, including the popular Renault Zoe and fairly new models from Peugeot and Skoda. I saw older EVs that are mostly extinct elsewhere, the Mitsubishi IMI EV and its Peugeot and Citroën counterparts. And a few new models that are just starting to appear on US shores, such as the Mercedes EQB, the Polestar and, grab the binoculars, an Xpeng, one of several Chinese cars now on sale in Norway, including models from MG BYD, NIO and Golden Dragon. Electric buses are everywhere, and so are electric delivery vans such as the Nissan ENV200. EVs aren't just seen on the streets. At Oslo Airport, a substantial portion of the ground support equipment appeared to be electric. Electric pleasure boats plied the waters of Oslo's beautiful fjord. Reaching the remote island of Smola required taking not one but two car ferries. Both were electric with backup diesel engines that apparently didn't need to be switched on for our voyages. But each used a different charging setup. Each of these systems had a sort of charging tower on the dock that automatically connected to a receptacle on the vessel. But one was on the side of the ship and one was mounted at the end near where the cars drove on. In both cases, the height of the charging plug can be adjusted to account for the tide. Larger vessels are electrifying too. We took a cruise ship of the famous Hurtigruten line from Kristiansund to Bergen. And one of the officers explained to me that it is a plug-in hybrid. Enormous batteries take some of the strain off the diesel engines. He said that the retrofitted system, combined with various efficiency improvements to the propellers and other components, reduces CO2 and nitrous emissions by up to 90%. I didn't take any air samples, but I certainly noticed that, like an electric passenger car, an electrified ship delivers a more pleasant ride. Earlier in this trip, I took an old-fashioned car ferry to Corsica. See my account of our Tesla road trip, and it belched clouds of black smoke at all times as well as generating deafening noise and bone-shaking vibration. Aboard Hurtigruten's hybrid Kong Harald, the only evidence that the diesels were running was a subdued hum and a shimmer of hot air escaping from the stacks. These ships make fairly frequent stops at ports along the coastal route. And they generally plug into shore power when they dock. Some may be surprised to learn that very few of the world's passenger ships do so. Most run the diesel engines the whole time they're in port, like an inconsiderate delivery driver idling his engine, and spew massive amounts of pollution into nearby neighborhoods.
There's much angst in the E5th world over the plight of the drivewayless. The baleful bane of city dwellers who aren't able to install EV charging at their homes. The example of Oslo may indicate that this isn't as big a problem as many fear. Like most cities, Oslo has block after block of medium-density apartment buildings, most of which have no garages or assigned parking spaces. In recent years, the amount of on-street parking in the city centre has been reduced. And the result is that central Oslo is a walker's delight, with the quietest and most pleasant streets of any city I've visited. Where there is on-street parking, there's a generous number of public chargers. Large parking garages, also well equipped with chargers, are located around the city. For all I know, Oslo residents may complain about the charging situation, but it certainly hasn't dampened their enthusiasm for driving electric. By my informal, unscientific count, around half the cars driving around Oslo were pure EVs, naturally. The ration was lower in rural regions. The official stats tell us that 71% of cars sold in Norway in July were pure EVs, and 12% were PHEVs. The most popular model was the Skoda Enyaq. Source reposted and summarized from Charles Morris at Avanex. My take: Norway is way ahead of the curve in relation to going electric.